welcome to the Werewolf by Night bonus show. This is a show that we make each and every week for our patrons. And we normally go through Werewolf media. We talk about what we've been reading, what we've been seeing, what's been going on in our lives. This is the final bonus show of Werewolf by Night, because this is accompanying our final episode before we rebrand as Bronze Age Monsters. And we're going to have a bonus show with Bronze Age Monsters as well. So it will keep going, but this is the final one where we're going to be talking about werewolves.
Yeah. And I'm excited about switching it up a bit. I love werewolves. They're my literal favorite monster. But yep. I'm excited to switch up the movies for each bonus show as Bronze Age Monsters rolls on, because season 1 will be all Satan movies. Season 2 is going to be some mummy movies and some golem movies and whatever. So I love that we're going to get a little bit of a switch up.
It's nice. I mean, we've done, man. I'm gonna make I'm gonna do a count on how many werewolf films we've watched for this show for the 3 seasons. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
What do you think? I think it's close to 50.
I think it's 55 to 60.
Okay, I love it.
It's like Price is Right.
This is Price is Right rules. So yeah, so we're sticking with that. Yeah, we watched a lot of these things, so we could tell you what to, what was a good one, what was one you might want to skip. So, but tonight I was very excited. Matt has seen it before. I had not seen it. We decided to go out on a high point or low point, depending on what you think.
It's a point.
It's a point for sure, and this point is Werewolves on Wheels from 1971. Very sleazy, very fun. It's about bikers and Satanists, and for just a tiny bit, werewolves.
Yeah. I would start off just by saying that if you're not a fan of like psychotronic movies or B movies or older movies, the biker phenomenon came into popularity in the B-movie drive-in circuit in the late 60s. As hippies got more popular, people got interested in like the Hells Angels and other stuff like that. So there was a bunch of exploitative movies that were saying, wow, these guys are terrifying. So there's a bunch of like cautionary tales or, oh my goodness, what's happening to our youth? So it was a subgenre by 67, 68. And someone took that and said, what if we added monsters? Which to me is that's like saying I love chocolate crowers. Well, if we took sausage gravy and just put it in there.
Ooh, I love it.
It's not going to be good, but they're two great things that don't go great together.
Yeah, I'll still try it.
I'll eat the fuck out of that. Are you kidding?
Yeah. I
want to be buried in a coffin full of sausage gravy. Non-traditional Catholic burial.
Yeah, still a pretty good idea.
Yes. So, unfortunately we watched this on Discord, which was cool with some other folks, but we use the Watch Along app, which only lets you watch things on YouTube that are not age
restricted.
Yeah, restricted.
I know.
So there was a beautiful print of this that had all the nudity, all the swearing, everything, all the violence in it, but we could not play it. So I had to play a really fuzzy, soft transfer that had been played on AMC with a watermark on it, and all the stuff cut out and any swearing silenced.
Yeah, so I noticed. I think I went to Just Watch, and I think you can watch this on Tubi.
Yeah,
and I think it's the uncut version.
Yeah, it is.
So I would recommend watching it there. I'm going to rewatch it. Actually, I want to watch it with Alicia.
Yeah, it's a hard one because I think when I talked about it in season 1 with you, this is before we decided to actually do Werewolf Media, and it was just kind of like you said, oh, I watched the Werewolf 1956, or it actually started when you and I happened to watch The Wolfman the same night.
That's right.
The next day, we're like, holy shit, I had insomnia. I watched The Wolfman. You're like, I watched it last night too. So that's when the Werewolf Multimedia was born.
Organically.
Yes, organically. But this one I watched before then, early on in season 1, and just kind of told you, I don't know what my notes were, but it was probably the same thing I'd say now, which is super low budget, Most of the actors are not professionals. They are clearly actual bikers. And a couple actors are thrown in there. And I wish there was more Satanism and werewolves in it.
Well, that's the thing. And I think we get this out of the way by, this is a low budget movie and there are a lot of people in it, very few actors.
Yep.
So, like you said, the majority of the bikers are just bikers who have no acting experience. And you can tell a lot of times because we figured that they were given, some direction of just like, just say some shit for a while and we're going to film it. You're partying, do party stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's basically how you would expect a bunch of non-actors who are told to act, like be natural. And so it was a lot of that. So I read in some of the trivia on IMDb, the bulk of the monks, the satanic monks, were played by hippies from a local commune. So they're not actors either. So and the guy who is supposed to be the actor who leads the Black Mass, I know you're not going to be surprised by this, but the trivia said that the actor Severin Darden improvised a lot of his Black Mass incantation. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because we were like, that just sounds like gibberish. You're just making up on the fucking spot.
Yeah, there's something appealing about this. Like if you are a person that appreciates unpolished filmmaking, either through acting or production value or whatever, this is a time capsule in essence of early Northern California. It felt like it was very northern. Like it didn't feel like Southern California to me.
No, I mean, no, I think it was very Northern California. And one of the songs, and we're going to talk about the soundtrack a lot, but one of the songs talked about Mount Shasta, which is Northern California.
So this is one of those films where it's like they had ideas and they had this is the scene where that was the script. And they gave directions to the bikers and said, this is a scene where you pull into a local garage or a gas station and you hassle the guy for gas. And there was no script. Maybe the lead actor, who was the leader of the biker group, who was clearly an actor.
He was an actor. Played Adam.
He had a couple lines. His name was Adam, his character.
Thoreau.
Thoreau.
Thoreau probably was an actor. But speaking of that gas station attendant that we really liked, guess what? He was just the guy that owned that gas station, not an actor. Crazy, right?
So I'm a fan of non-professional actors, especially when they're actually just doing what they do in real life and just told, do this thing. Yeah. This is a bit of a mess as far as that stuff goes. We were watching along and there's one scene where they go to a kind of car junkyard graveyard and just party. And they light a bunch of cars on fire and they're drinking beer and they're doing whatever. And someone's playing guitar and singing a song. And it's like, that's what they did. They said, light these things on fire. I found a cool spot.
Yeah.
Bring some gas and some matches and some beer and whiskey and some weed and your old ladies. And let's go shoot this thing. And they shot the shit out of it.
Yeah, they did.
It's daytime, nighttime party, morning, waking up. Like it's a hinge of the visuals of this story, and it's not important at all. No. The important thing is that, you can tell the plot in a couple of strokes, which is just a bunch of bikers going along. They find a big church. Well, again, tarot. We say tarot, but whenever I watch old movies, they always say tarot.
Tarot.
I think that's tarot is like a modern westernization of tarot. But he gives a reading to a woman that's kind of like your cards say death, devil, tower, something. And it's like they find this weird church. They approach it. There's some monks all dressed in black. They have bread and wine, which is clearly blood. They all the hippie bikers drink. They all pass out except for the woman. She comes in. They do some special thing around her and turn her into some type of receptacle for satanic power. And then she scratches the leader of the bikers, Adam. He becomes a werewolf. And then he turns other people into werewolves. And they kind of just move on through Northern California, burying people in the sand as they die. And the movie's over. Yeah,
and there's not a transformation scene.
Nope.
There are some kind of cool werewolf shots at the very end, but of course,
Very end.
we're promised werewolves on wheels, and we didn't really get that. We didn't get a werewolf, riding a motorcycle, which is I think they owed us that, at least some kind of silly scene.
Yeah, and if you've been following us from season 1, we're big fans of whenever Jack was turned into a werewolf while driving a car. That was amazing.
So amazing.
So we had high hopes, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I definitely had high hopes. I think while we were doing the watch along, you and I really enjoyed the soundtrack, which is done by a guy named Don Gear.
Loved it.
And I loved it. I thought it was great. It's so like generic, like library music, hippie stuff.
It was that transition into country-ish, countrified rock, right? Of the early 70s.
Yeah, it was. It was like, but it was really cool. It was like someone, the guy that did this, it was corny stuff, and he's trying to do sound alike stuff. Like, oh, this sounds like the band. This sounds like International Submarine Band. This, but it was so charming. Like his soundtrack was really charming and was kind of good. There was some really droney stuff that was interesting, But then over this droney stuff, you would suddenly hear this super loud, like most fuzzed out guitar you've ever heard in your life. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. The fuzzed out guitar was almost my favorite character of
me too.
The whole film. So
the soundtrack is the main character.
Oh, the soundtrack's great. I really, really liked it. And it is on vinyl. So it is out there and has been released.
I think it was pressed in Europe. So if you're gonna get it here, you have to pay international shipping, which is the only bummer.
Yeah, it's not affordable for what it is, but maybe it'll get a record store day release or something. That would be cool. But yeah, like you were talking about, Matt. I mean, in reading about this, I mean, all of these shots are stolen. Every single one.
Oh yeah.
There's no permits. There's no anything. Like this is. Yeah,
no SAG actors.
No SAG actors. This was shot in 16 days, which I actually was like, wow, they took their time. I was like, I would have guessed 9.
Feels like 4 to 6. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Rob Zombie loves this movie. He samples a couple lines from this movie in a few different songs, I think.
I have to say, I don't know what I said back when I first watched this in season 1, but I think I was generally positive of like, if you like super low budget, super amateur B movies that are exploitative and like drive-in stuff, this is worth watching. I was frustrated by the lack of werewolf stuff that doesn't show up until the last reel, but I still had a good time with it. And I think our friend Brad Elmore watched it in the meantime and said, like, that is so close to being good. Like, if you just had...
It is, but that's an accurate description. It really is.
Yeah, why don't they let me just have a crack at a remake of this and I can make this fucking badass? It's like, no shit, you could. You're fucking Brad Elmore. But yeah, I would love to see a remake of this by Brad or like Robert Rodriguez or I don't know, fucking who else. But like, just like, all the pieces are here. It was just kind of like you're not a filmmaker, so you don't know how to make tension and how to like, I mean, Werewolf Bikers writes itself, right? Like,
it writes itself. Call up Ty West.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
No, I mean, it's a goofy as shit and it's not a good movie, but it is entertaining enough to where I'm like, I want to watch that again. I want to watch the uncut version. And that's what I'm going to do tonight. So so I guess I liked it.
Yeah. I think we agree that the soundtrack cinches this and makes it like whatever refuse pile you would throw it on normally. The soundtrack elevates it to this point where it's like, shit, man, it's a time capsule.
It is, and it's a perfect time capsule.
Rad.
It is. It's totally rad. So I highly recommend it. You can watch you can probably just watch that nice print on YouTube too, or there's one on Tubi. You'll have to do commercials. But yeah, either way, I give it a claw up.
Claw up for me as well. With the caveat of, again, it drags its feet for the first hour, and it's not a long movie. But hearing bikers ad lib they're not actors is fascinating to me.
It was fascinating.
Like-
where they're like in that scene where it was almost like a party, like orgy, to where they just kept saying the word wine, like they were given directions, like, give me more wine. Yeah, what about that wine? And then one guy was just like, wine, wine, wine. And it was all they could say. And you were like, oh, this is fascinating.
Yeah, no, it's like the director said, okay, so you guys are having an orgy-like party and you want the wine, go.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, oh shit, let's say wine then.
It's just a bunch of like just cracked out bikers just being like, oh shit, we're acting now. I like wine. And it was so weird.
Yeah, I loved it for that. It's a deeply flawed, very amateurish film, and it's super entertaining in a weird time capsule of 1971 California drive-in biker bullshit.
Yeah, it is. It is total bullshit, but it's really entertaining bullshit. Oh, and I did have to look this up. So when we were doing the watch along, we were commenting on how shitty the tarot cards looked. Yeah. They were hastily drawn up by the production designer.
Holy shit, that's actually
and
cool.
This movie had a production designer.
You saw me putting the whiskey glass to my lips, and you said that.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god,
made me laugh. So. Yeah, I had a blast doing it. And I think that I think we need to, I mean, I know we can't do it every time because it has to be on YouTube. We need to figure this shit out because I love doing the watch alongs. And I think that, I think we can get more people doing it. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm so frustrated. I actually logged in like 2 hours before the start of the movie and
just to find
every copy of it on YouTube. And then put it into the watch along and saw the ones that were like, I found the perfect print that was gorgeous. And I was like, God damn it. Like I did research. You can't turn switches on. You can't do whatever to make it play. Like if it's age restricted on YouTube, it is not playable through third-party apps. So pretty frustrating. Cause I want to do watch alongs too. And unless we're watching something from before 1968, we can't, like, you know what I mean? Like we couldn't watch anything that has swearing in it. I don't know. It's frustrating.
That's frustrating. Yeah. We need we'll figure it out. There's gotta be some way.
Yeah. Might have to be another app.
Might have to be another app, or it may have to be something that, we organize on Discord and then figure out how to host ourselves or do something on,
Yeah, we can organize we can do it on Discord, but their screen share app doesn't allow audio. So I could screen share a movie on my computer, but it would have no audio. And I think it's intentional.
That is definitely intentional, and that is bullshit, right, Lou?
Right, Lou?
Right, Lulu? Yeah.
Oh, so we left. Can never say hi.
Oh yeah, our white cats could meet each other.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the final bonus show of this series.
Final bonus show.
I feel like we did a lot of good stuff on here.
I think so too. I feel like, I listen to a lot of comic podcasts, and I feel like the bonus content that you've made and that we've recorded is pretty solid.
I had a great time doing the Scourge stuff.
That was fun,
especially when you jumped on when they got more substantial. I love going through the films, man. I'm always, even if I don't love the movie, I love seeing a new movie. I'm not going to talk about what my favorites were from this season because I want to save this for the finale. But I found a couple gems this year that I've been recommending to people since. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to jump in. Like I got a huge list of Satan movies. We're going to be watching a lot of Satan movies together.
I'm excited.
And most of them are available on YouTube, so we can watch them on Discord together. So
yeah, well, we'll see if all of my Jehovah's Witness relatives that inexplicably follow us on socials are going to stick around or talk to me anymore once we post nothing but satanic stuff.
Yeah, that's like I think this season 1 of Bronze Age Monsters is going to be 24 episodes of Satan. So
yeah, I honestly thought about it. I'm just like, no, Mom, he's Satan's son, but he's like fighting against his dad.
Yeah.
Like they don't get along. Like, you know, so he's kind of a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, that's not going to fly.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you and your patience with me and my nonsense. And, you know, if folks don't realize, Jacob and I always do the bonus show after the main show. So I've usually been imbibing the entire time. So I'm usually a little on the looser side of things in the bonus show. So thank you for your patience with me.
It's been fun. No, these bonus shows are great. And I love going through the films. I just love that in doing this show and doing something that we love, we've become experts in the field by default, by just being like, have you watched 50 werewolf films? Because we have. And we've even gleaned a few insights from it.
Yeah.
So
like, if you're doing a documentary, I would wear an ascot and I would smoke a pipe.
Yeah.
Like to that level.
Absolutely.
In an overstuffed chair.
Yeah. Come on,
Werewolf in 1956 was a curious entry in the genre.
Oh, yeah, we could totally
Werewolf.
totally do that. Yeah, so I liked that. I love becoming experts on things that don't matter. That's my favorite thing on earth to do. So
yeah, I feel like the things that matter, people have already got covered.
They do. They totally have that covered. We don't need to retread that.
I'm just carving this out, man.
Yeah, no, and we've carved out very interesting identities for ourselves as Werewolf by Night experts, werewolf media experts, and you know what? We were able to do cool shit because of that. So
yeah, paid off.
It kind of paid off in a very unexpected way.
You know, I remember when I was like 18 or 19, I was working at this gross health food store. With a friend of mine, a couple years older than me, but I remember having this conversation with him, like saying, like, I would really like to be an expert on something, like, you know, like a James Joyce guy. Like, I know Ulysses. I can talk about every aspect of whatever. And he was like, that's so strange because I want to know a little bit about everything in life. And I feel like, you know, that makes me more easily, you know, introduced to the world, and I'm able to move around different groups. And I'm like, really? I'm like the guy that's like, I want to be able to talk about Homer or, you know, or Joyce or whatever, like with a pipe. It'll be like, I'm the guy that knows.
I'm the guy.
Fucking everything. Like,
no,
there's three dudes that know this thing. Matt Howell's one of them. Like, I've always wanted to be that guy.
Yeah, no. And I think that you know, your friend who you were working with, I think he's a monster. And I think people like that are the worst. And someone that invests their entire life in specialized knowledge of one very esoteric thing, that person's my hero.
Yeah. No, you and I, that's why we're best buds, man.
That's right.
Because we're very kindred spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat
McCreary is a normal man. And I love him, but he's a monster.
Yeah, he's a normal monster. Normal people are monsters. No, that was the funny thing. And I think it was interesting how, you know, when Michael invited us down to you know, host the Q&A, and I remember, you know, one of us were talking about being nervous or something, and then I came to the weird conclusion of just like, we are the most qualified two people on earth to do this. And that was true.
Yeah. I was nervous.
Genuinely true.
I was all fucking worried about it. And you were like, Matt, we are the best two people in the world to talk about this topic. Like, why are you nervous?
I just had never, I don't know, I'd never been in that situation. So yeah, it was nice as someone who is amassed a volume of esoteric knowledge in their head that means nothing and that no one cares about. It's nice to have it pay off just once. Once.
I wouldn't say that no one cares about.
Yeah.
I have a inkling of your knowledge on many things in the world, and I think that I'm in fucking awe of what you know and what you do. So I don't agree, but yes.
Okay.
But the average person,
yes,
your normies,
man,
yeah, you're a freak to them.
Yep.
But the good thing is they don't matter.
They don't. No. No, they don't.
The people like us who appreciate art and appreciation of art are in awe of you and what you do. And you're archival knowledge of everything. It's fucking fascinating, and I don't understand it, but I do appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's a good note.
That is a good note. This is how many bonus shows have we done?
This will be 40.
40.
Yep.
40 bonus shows
Since
that are all at least a half hour long.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them we used to really blather on. Some of them were like
an hour and 10 minutes.
Some of them were over an hour long.
Yeah.
That's some crazy bonus content. I don't know many podcasts that do that. That's a lot.
No. We give.
We do give. Yeah. No, I'm proud of what we built. I'm proud of this thing that we did. It's something that is hard to explain to normal people. Mm-hmm. I've kind of stopped. It was funny, like I have a new job. I got a job at the local library in my very small Southern Oregon town, and I'm getting to know people, and people are really cool. And I think I had talked about it with the people who hired me. Who were just like, well, what do you do? Like, what's your thing? And I was like, oh, I do these podcasts, and it's kind of cool. And I was thinking, like, and the people that I work with at the library are very nice. They're super nice, but they're very normal. And I actually made the decision to where I'm just like, no, I'm just not going to bring this up.
Just the fact that you knew that was the right choice to make means that you can pass.
I can try.
People who can't turn that off can't pass, right?
Yeah.
That's where geeks versus nerds happens, where it's like, I have this very clear thing. We've talked about this several times on the show, where it's like, geeks are into things that are cool and nerds don't get laid. So
yes,
geeks, records, films, books, nerds, thrusters on different fictional spaceships. Tarantino, nerd.
Yeah. Yes.
Harvey Picar's buddy, nerd. I am a nerd.
Oh, I love that guy.
Very clear dichotomy.
Yeah, there is a clear dichotomy there.
Geeks get laid. When people ask me what is the difference, I say geeks get laid. Geeks are into things that are cool. They're just too into them.
They're way too into them. But yeah, I think it's taken me till my middle age to be like, no, I can just not talk about it. Like, I don't have to, because it's just going to make people weirded out and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's just going to take way too much explaining. So I made that weird choice in my head, because I'm very proud of what we do. I think what we do is fucking awesome. Like, it's something that some of the things I'm most proud of in my life. But I realize that not everyone is going to understand that. And it would take a really long time to try to explain to them why they should care about this. And when you do that, you're like, oh, I shouldn't even waste time doing this.
Yeah. And I deal with that too. Like, but I always just try and be really dismissive and minimizing of everything, just because I want people to know that I don't think they would care. It's like my previous boss was like, hey, listen to your podcast. And I was like, you did? He's like, yeah, I had no idea what you guys were talking about. It was really good. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And then my wife, Renee, just told me like, oh, Zach I work with, he's listening to the show. I'm like, is he reading Werewolf by Night? He's like, no, he just likes the show. I was like, that's so weird to me that happens.
Yeah, but I feel like that's kind of what we built, because, we were talking about something that was so obscure that, 99% of comic readers have never read it and have hardly even cared about it. So we started with the most obscure material and had to build a show out of that people could listen to that hadn't read the source material. And that's everybody. Right. Literally everybody. And we found the people that did read it. There were a very few that at the beginning were just like, oh, I love this character. Like, I can't believe there's a show about him. But so we had to build a show that, weirdly enough, we just had to make palatable, just from the two of us, just being friends for so long and having a good rapport. And that was kind of the show. And I think that drew a lot of people in, and a lot of people that we're great friends with now and that are huge fans of the show. Yeah, just checked out the show and then checked out Werewolf by Night.
Yeah. If they make that leap, I'm thrilled, by the way. I mean,
I think that's another thing that we can be proud of, is that, a lot of people know about the character now because of the Disney Plus special that Michael directed, which is amazing. And I'm loving the renaissance that Jack is getting.
And we made that happen. All of that. I mean,
yeah.
Michael didn't know who Werewolf by Night was before he heard our show. I mean, we're kind of responsible for that.
Oh, are we taking? Yeah, that's right. We should. Let's
retcon and
let's retcon
gaslight.
That. Yeah, let's gaslight Michael and just be like, oh no, you hadn't heard of the character at all.
No, you're right. It's funny that I literally chose it as a thing that I loved as a kid, that I still love now, and that nobody knows about. And I was like, hey, anybody want to talk about this thing that literally nobody cares about? And and I love that you piped up a couple weeks later and said, so are we doing it or not?
I honestly still have no idea why I did that.
I don't either, but I'm glad you did, because
I have no idea
the
why.
first episode like a month later. So
yeah, I honestly, it was just one of those things. It was just meant to be, because there's no reason why I should have done that.
Yeah, I feel like my recollection is you said, like, I know Tomb of Dracula, I know like this era, I know Bronze Age, I know blah, blah, blah. I was like, I do not know this character, and I'm kind of vexed by the fact that I don't know who this is really beyond this.
Yeah, it upset me.
Yeah.
So I think
so I understand you, I think, enough to know that you were like, well, that's not cool. I have to rectify that.
Yeah. And not rectify it by just reading a quick wiki entry on the character. No, that's not going to work for me. That's not how I roll. So
no, you have to marry Jack Russell.
Yes. So that's what we did.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just so strange. Like, just this whole ride has just been so strange. I know we're going to rehash some of the stuff on the finale for people that don't get the bonus show, but yeah, it was just, piss on them.
Yeah. It's interesting with Jack, because I feel like the 21st century Jack popped up most in like Remender's, like, was that Remender that wrote Frankencastle?
I think so.
And then he comes up a lot in Deadpool for some reason, which I don't want to fucking read.
I know. I don't.
So it's like I want to follow a character that I am invested in, but he hangs around with Deadpool. Like, I don't know. I love Deadpool in the 90s when he had his own unlimited series. Like, when he first started, he was hilarious. And then he's a joke that doesn't go away.
Yeah, Deadpool's also kind of, at least to me, and I know that a lot of people that we love, who are, fans of the show and friends of the show, I know a lot of people like Deadpool. Deadpool's always been that thing that I like, but I hate the people that like him. Yeah. So I don't want to like it.
Rick and Morty fans.
It's exactly like Rick and Morty, because I'm like, Rick and Morty's an amazing fucking show. It is
the fans.
I hate the fucking fans. So I can't be like, I love Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty. It's great, because then that just makes me one of those assholes that want the Szechuan sauce. And so, it's a bummer. And that is how I feel about Deadpool.
So I've been struggling with like wanting to keep up with Jack, and I love that he showed up in that Moon Knight annual that McKay wrote. I know somebody on our Discord was like, what the fuck is going on? Where he's like starkly standing there, like huge, has a huge mane of hair and a beard, and like looks like some kind of tribal tats. And he's like, I'm the king of the werewolves now. I'm like, that fucking rules.
That does kind of fucking
I
rule.
love that there's this huge leap in the character where he's like, he's saying like, I did the trials of whatever, and I fought so-and-so and this thing, like I earned this title. Like, yes, he should have, because he was a fucking werewolf prime in Marvel. Like, he should have always been the king of werewolves. But the fact that he had to go through some weird fucking Doctor Strange trials to prove it is amazing. And I want to know all of that.
I do too. Yeah, I can't wait to pick up my issue when we head up to Portland next. And yeah, and honestly, like, I fucking love Jed McKay. I love his Moon Knight run. I think he's a great writer. I think he balances humor and mythos and seriousness so well. Like, I feel like he just is getting better and better. And I know that he's going to be given really big books at Marvel in the next 5 years. He could be, he's going to be writing fucking Spider-Man and Fantastic Four. Like he's the next generation of big time writer.
Yeah. I'd love to see him write Hulk.
Oh, I know. I mean, he'd be great on anything. He's
Or
just
anything.
such a
Or Daredevil.
He's
I mean,
such a good storyteller, and he's so badass about stuff. And I think the way that he's handled Moon Knight, I've really, really loved.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't wait to see if he, revisits the Jack Russell character. That would be cool.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for those tantalizing little things like that, right? Where you just like jump forward and show me like some force evolved weird crazy shit with the character, and it's like I want to know every single thing that happened, and it's like the writer's like I just made that up. I got no idea.
It sounded really cool, so I just wrote it down.
Yeah. So anyway, Jack Russell, King of the Werewolves. If that's where we are in 2022, I fucking love it, and I want it.
Man. This became the best timeline somehow.
Yeah,
and
somehow.
It was not.
Yeah, there was a lot of cigarettes and a lot of mirrored sunglasses to get here, and a lot of ponytails.
Yeah, but you're right. As far as a modern take, like McKay's might be the coolest.
Oh, fucking A, dude.
Yeah.
That's like literally like the man child to the fully formed realized man, like Ubermensch, like Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Like that was his inevitable path. He had to get there. He was born to be the king of the werewolves.
Yeah, damn
he
right.
He just had to fail, struggle, get his ass kicked a lot, integrate his two selves, keep changing, keep growing, hang around some losers, and then finally do all the trials and be like, nope, it's declared.
Okay, so you just
of the werewolf world.
So you just kind of framed this whole season of Jack as failing up, basically. The whole this whole season of the podcast that we've gone through.
I'm doing this series because
you're doing from Marvel
as a dipshit kid. Remember when he was fucking powerless? Remember when one strong guy with fucking gloves on could beat the shit out of him because he's a fucking chauffeur?
Yep.
How frustrated we were. He leveled up, and then we jump forward to this stuff. Like this was an opus. Like this was a predetermined. This is fate.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, no one's paid dues like Jack then to get to this point.
He got his ass handed to him for years.
Pretty much every single time.
But like Kathan or whoever decreed this 1,000 years ago that this was going to happen. Like, I think that this is all fate.
You're right. We needed to take the macro look at this. We need to step back and see this as
30,000 foot view. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we can see this as his giant struggle to reach the precipice of the King of the Werewolves. I love it.
Yeah. So I guess that the current state where he is now, as like this kind of like elder, this kind of August leader of the lycanthropes, makes me want to read all the aughts and teen stuff that I kind of skipped over because I was just like, he's literally a comic relief. He's is. Well, even in that League of Monsters,
that Legion of Monsters shit, like I couldn't get into it.
It's not Jack, dude.
The book is okay, but just Jack's part in that book is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And I know people like those books and they're cool. I can see that, but coming at it from a Jack Russell viewpoint, it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
It did. And so when I saw that stuff from McKay that whoever that was posted that on the Discord, I was like, I don't hate it. And I was like, I kind of love it. Like, I'm actually getting more excited about it the more I think about it. Like, this is fucking rad. Like, he's earned all this.
Yes, he has.
This, right?
Yeah. No, I love it.
He's not Spider-Man. You don't need to constantly de-age him and like dumbify him. Like,
no, he doesn't have to be an 18-year-old kid anymore.
He's earned all the stuff. And I mean, the second word balloon of this chain was Ivor the Darkhold and maintain my sanity. Like,
that was such an awesome line,
dude. I was like,
great line.
Yeah,
that was so
from there
good.
on.
I loved it.
So, Jed McKay, this is a public episode, so he could see this.
Okay. No, we need to have him on. We'll have to contact him and get him on here to talk about Werewolf by Night. I would love that.
And I will drink less whiskey and beer before we do that.
Could be fun.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's a really good cap on the shit, man.
Yeah, it's pretty good. This is what we wanted to do. We wanted to have a cap on the main episode, cap on the bonus. Oh, and you're making this bonus available to everyone, right?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, good.
Yep. This is for everybody.
That's awesome.
So yeah, folks, normally we have little things like, I don't know, I throw some video in. I do stuff like Kickstarter catch up, or Jacob does some outsider art stuff. Like, we do little things here and there, but sometimes it's just us just shooting the shit like this. And this is how we chose to do the last episode of the series.
Yeah, keep it a little informal. I like that.
So yeah, I do too. And please just follow us at Bronze Age Monsters on all platforms and subscribe to the podcast. You're going to love it, man. You're going to love it. Trust me. If you don't, I'll give you a full refund.
Full
Double.
refund?
2.
Oh, come on.
Times 2.
That's a lot.
I'm magnanimous.
Scammers are going to have a field day with us.
Well, it's all Bitcoin. So
Yeah. Okay. It's all Ethereum.
it's all Doge.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you for putting up with me through 2 seasons of the bonus show.
Oh, it's been fun.
I'm excited to do it again.
Oh, yeah. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to do the same thing every week.
Yeah.
Which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah. We're starting next season, by the way, with Devil's Reign with William Shatner and Tom Skerritt and Ernest Borgnine.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh, don't watch it ahead.
I won't.
We'll watch it together on the Discord.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
So, yeah, I mean, so our plan is to come back when? Like sometime in mid-February, maybe?
I think early February.
Early? Oh, okay. I know you like a full month off, but all right.
Yeah.
You're excited.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Right on.
All right. Well, what we normally like to say at the end of the bonus show, our oddly chosen catchphrases even, as I say, may your fur never bristle in the moonlight.
Stay furry, friends. And that's the bonus show. We're going to have a lot more, baby.
That was good.
John Travolta's in Devil's Reign, by the way.
What?